Tom from Pinpoint here, and I thought I'd just take 10 minutes or so to talk you through a bunch of different ways Pinpoint can help from a sourcing and kind of talent attraction perspective. I think obviously at our core, we're an applicant tracking system, and many applicant tracking systems focus almost exclusively on selection, and they don't have a great deal of tools within them to help you actually attract candidates and drive applicant volume in the first place. I think we try and do things a little different, and obviously we have a whole bunch of selection tooling, but we try and work quite hard to help you on that sourcing and attraction side as well. And so I thought I'd just touch on a couple of different ways we can do so. First one of those is the candidate experience itself. So I think many organizations focus quite hard on driving volume to their careers portal without really looking at their careers experience and their applicant process in enough detail. And we'd sometimes call that like a leaky bucket, where they're sort of pouring a whole bunch of candidates into a bucket with a big hole in the bottom, and they're not really converting many of those into candidates. So again, using this fake kind of Hooli demo that we use for our videos today, just to showcase some examples of that. Obviously, this is a very simple example, and you can be a lot more sophisticated than this very basic one-page site. But the bits that are worth mentioning are, does your candidate experience work on a mobile device and on a tablet? Is it super easy for the candidates to get the information they want? So not just a nice detailed job description that really reflects the role in question, but candidates these days, they want to know who they're going to be speaking to. So are you giving them a hiring manager profile and showcasing sort of who they are actually going to be talking to through that recruitment journey? And candidates want to know how many hoops they're going to have to jump through when they apply for your roles. And so are you showcasing what your hiring process looks like and explaining what they need to be thinking about at each stage of the process? If you're not doing these things, your conversion rate could likely be better, right? And so sometimes the best advice we can give people is actually the problem is not driving people to your job descriptions or to your application processes. It's that nobody's completing those things, right? And so go take a look at that in the first instance. And so obviously out of the box, we try and help with best practice there. So this is an example of that. I think the other thing to think about is, what does your actual application process look like, right? So we see lots of organizations still requiring candidates to sign up for an account before they can apply for a job. We have a lot of data that says you'll see more than a 50% drop off on the basis of requiring an account for people to apply for your jobs. So do away with that process. That makes a big difference. Are your application forms simple? With Pinpoint, it's a one-page process. You've got one-click apply with LinkedIn. Obviously, this is all very customizable from a client-by-client perspective, and every job can look different. But the point is, can the candidate complete this process in a couple of minutes? Because again, we see if your processes take more than 5 minutes to complete, you're going to hemorrhage about 10% of that volume every minute, right? So work hard to make this simple. And I think really that's the first tool in the toolbox, so to speak, is we help you, not just build out these sites and make them super easy to use, but also with best practice around your job descriptions and your candidate journey and things like that. So that's the first way that I'd say that we help you attract talent. I think the second thing to think about just on the candidate experience before we move to the product is this notion of talent pipelining. And so we see lots of organizations sort of start from scratch every time they're recruiting, even though maybe they've met 10 or 15 quality candidates when recruiting for similar roles previously. I think we want to make it super simple within the product for you to capture that talent if there's not a role in this list that appeals to them. And so we give you a speculative application process where candidates can come in. Again, this is very customizable, but they can come in at a high level, give you their contact details, upload a resume, and you can throw up a list of all of your different locations and departments in here, and candidates can say, hey, I'm interested in engineering roles or operations roles in London or wherever it is you're based. And then you can start building that database of talent, and Pinpoint has a bunch of tools within the product to help you with that. So those are the two kind of candidate experience pieces on the talent attraction side. I think if we move to the product, the first thing I'll talk about here is job boards, right? And so job board distribution, syndication, marketplaces, whatever you want to call them. And so if we click here into a job, now there's two things that we can think about from a job board perspective. One, we have a bunch of what we call big picture syndicate integrations with the larger platforms. Think the LinkedIns, the Indeeds, the Glassdoors, etc. And so you can connect your Pinpoint account directly to those platforms completely for free and have it configured so that whenever you create a new job in Pinpoint, that job and its associated information is automatically posted on, say, Indeed, Glassdoor, on your LinkedIn account, etc. So that we're getting your jobs out in front of the people on those platforms. And so again, that's syndication. I think beyond that, we also have like a much larger, longer tail sort of job board marketplace. Now this is just a demo, so it just has sort of 26 random job boards in it. And we actually have almost 1,400 job boards in our job board marketplace across 49 countries. And the idea is you can come in here, you can select a bunch of different platforms that you want to post to. Some are free, some are paid. The cost of these platforms is always the same or less via Pinpoint than buying them directly. And so you can say, hey, I want to post on ZipRecruiter and Dribble and Indeed and whatever, build out a job board cart, and then essentially check that all out in one go. And as you can see, some of these were paid. And so there's a price at the bottom. You can pay all of that online, and Pinpoint will distribute all of your jobs automatically onto each of these platforms, and then all of the candidates on those platforms will come right back into Pinpoint. So again, depending on the location of the role or the type of role or the industry you're in, we have industry-specific job boards, we have diversity and inclusion-specific job boards, we have location and geography-specific job boards. There's a whole range in here, and what you see will be somewhat guided by those that are relevant to you. And so super easy to get your jobs out onto those job board marketplaces. I think the next thing to think about is social. And so we allow you to post both organically and also using paid advertising on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc. So super easy to get your roles out onto social and in front of people in that more passive audience. And there's lots that we can be doing to be helped there. And again, our customer success team are on hand at no cost whenever you need us to advise on the most appropriate channels for the types of roles that you're distributing. And so important to think about social as another tool in the box from a attraction perspective. Moving further on, we can think about referrals. So we have an end-to-end employee referral platform built into the product. And so you can turn referrals on. You can either manually invite users, or you can turn on self-sign-up, and you can configure who has authority to sign up. You can then embed the referrals platform into your intranet or elsewhere, and you can also generate what we call a referrals portal. And so every member of your team can log into a sort of basic version of Pinpoint that has referrals in it. And they'll in here see any roles that you have that are available for referrals. So within the product, whenever you create a job, you can turn on an optional referral incentive, and you can say, hey, we're looking for referrals for this. We're optionally offering a reward for anybody that refers talent in for this role. And then people can use the referrals portal. They'll see a list of all of the jobs that are available to refer candidates into, and they can click into those jobs and either add the candidate to the role manually, or we'll generate a unique link for every member of your team that they can distribute to their friends. And then when individuals that they know apply using this link, that referral will automatically be attributed to the person that's referred the talent into the business. And we sort of gamify this and create little dashboards so people can compete and see how much they've referred in and how much money they've made and things like that. And we give you, as the recruitment team, tools within the product to manage that referral cycle and see who's delivering quality candidates and who's not, who you owe commission to, and so on and so forth. And so I think everybody is aware of the quality of referrals versus traditional sources, and we want to make that easy for you and give you the tools to kind of transition into a referrals-based recruitment strategy. So that's referrals. I think we also allow you to work with external recruiters. So if you're using a recruitment agency or a recruitment process outsourcing firm or something like that, here in the team area, you can manage your kind of core Pinpoint team. You can also add in as many different external recruiters as you want. And when you add external recruiters in, you can restrict what they can see. So for example, if you invited an external recruiter and you allowed them to just see test job 3, when they log into Pinpoint, they get a very different external recruiter focused experience. They can't see any of this stuff. They can't see your hiring workflows or your settings or any of your candidates for the role. They just get the ability to manually add a candidate. And when they do that, the candidates will come in here, and any candidates added by an external recruiter are automatically tagged with this external recruiter tag. So you can filter those in and out. And the beauty of this is then when you communicate with these candidates, you can configure this so that any external recruiter correspondence, instead of going directly to the candidate, goes directly to the recruiter and things like that. So super easy to allow you to work very nicely with your external recruiters. We make it simple for them so they engage with you. And then you get one view like this, where you can manage all of your direct candidates, all of your referred candidates, all of your external recruiter candidates, any candidates from job boards, from social, etc., etc., etc. And so super easy to get your jobs out there far and wide and really attract more candidates than you've done in the past. And so hopefully that gives you a sense of a bunch of different things to say. I think the other thing I'd quickly say, and we alluded to it right at the beginning, is this notion of a talent pipeline, right? So for this job, we might have interviewed 5 candidates and really like one of them or 2 of them and maybe make a hire, but there's a bunch of people in there that we certainly want to keep track of because in the future we're going to have relevant roles. And so what you can do within the platform is you can select people, you can invite them into your talent pipeline, and this is where we start building up that big picture database of talent. And in this example, we've just got 90 fake people in here, but this is our sort of talent CRM, so to speak. And you can see in here, we can tag these candidates up with different skills or reasons why they've been entered into the talent pipeline and things like that. We can rate them. We can see the types of roles these individuals are interested in. We can click into them and treat them just like normal candidates. And this search is very powerful. It will search their CV, their cover letter, any correspondence we've ever had with them, any comments ever left against them, and return a list of people that fit that criteria. So you might come in here and search for a specific skill or qualification, or perhaps a prior employer, and Pinpoint will find any candidate that fit that criteria, and you can select those candidates and email them or text them or invite them to apply for a specific role. And so not only do we kind of make this easy to build up, I think we actually take this one step further. And if you click into a job, on your left-hand side, you have your hiring workflow, which is where all of your direct candidates come in from. On the right-hand side, though, we'll now embed your talent pipeline automatically. And so whenever you create a job, Pinpoint will look through that talent database for you, and it will shortlist any candidates that it thinks are a good fit for the opportunity, and you can select them and invite them to apply right from within the job. So as you can see, there's a whole kind of gamut of ways of us getting candidates aware of your roles, interested in your roles, and applying for your roles. I think the last thing to think of from a sort of sourcing and attraction perspective is insights and reporting, right? And so if we click into insights for this specific job, there's a whole bunch of reporting data and things like that. And again, excuse the very fake data for this demonstration. I think the bits that are important, though, are things like this report, right? Applicants by channel. And again, this is fake data seeded by our platform, so that the information is not particularly useful. But what this would say typically is, job boards, social media, referral, direct, external recruiter, and so on and so forth. And you could, for example, click into job boards and you'd see a breakdown of every one of the job boards that has directed candidates to your application process and how many of them have converted and applied and so on and so forth. And so you can see a high level breakdown at a specific role level of where your candidates are coming from. And then when you start making hires, this report will show you what channel the person that you hired came from. And so this is often very interesting if you're to look at, for example, we work with lots of external recruiters and they've all added lots of candidates, but we only ever seem to hire from this one external recruiter, or this job board is delivering lots of candidates, but they're not getting very far through the process, and so on. And so there's lots of ways that we can give you reporting and insights to help you understand not just where you should be posting your jobs, but how that channel is performing and how to be thinking about it in the future. And obviously this is a set of insights specific to this job, but we can view a similar set of insights sort of across the whole organization, and we can filter this down to different locations and departments and teams and things like that to make it super easy to understand, hey, this channel works well for our engineering hires, but this channel actually is the right channel for our operations hires or for our finance team, and so on and so forth. So again, I appreciate I've gone very quickly there, but I'm just conscious of time and I wanted to give you a kind of shortish video that just touched on attraction and sourcing within the platform. Obviously, there's more we're doing here all the time, and we'd love the opportunity to talk to you about how you're attracting talent right now and maybe how we could help with that. I think if you have any questions on anything you've seen today or you want to dig in a bit deeper, please reach out. We'd love to discuss things further. Thank you for listening. All the best and enjoy the rest of your day.